Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin, and as of right now, we have 54 participants on the line. Make sure that you reach out to your team. We don't want any ICMs left behind, and of course, make sure new enrollees get set up with the text reminder for these calls each morning. Today, we get to learn from Daine Clark, and we truly are very fortunate to get to learn from Daine because he's been extremely successful and he's been spending his Wednesday mornings with us to share what's working for him and how he's been able to be successful with both real estate and with marketing. And I just really love Daine's style. His way of training is just phenomenal. So a little bit of Daine's background. He was working 2 jobs before Renatus. He was working for both Apple and as a roofer. For Apple, he was in the back. He was actually kind of shy at the time, which is inspiring to me because now he's come a long way since being a shy person, not wanting to talk to people. And as a roofer, he fell into that work because that's what his dad was doing. And with fair skin, being in the sun all day was not his cup of tea. And so at the time, he was barely making ends meet and started looking for other income opportunities. And after finding Renatus, he plugged into the systems and listened to his mentors. And after applying Velocity Banking, he was able to pay down debt and use that as leverage as a down payment for a duplex, where he lived in one side and rented out the other. Fast forward to today, he has raised over $10 million from investors to lend on various real estate transactions. And his secret to that is consistency and frequency. He has grown his team. He's now a PIT team member, meaning he's a President's Advisory Council member in training. He's recognized by our CEO, Bob Snyder, as a key leader. And again, we're fortunate to have him as our trainer today. I'm excited what he's got to share. Good morning, Daine.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Keely. You are seriously the best. And I'm sorry that somebody kept coming off a mute and interrupting you, but glad we were able to figure that out. But anyway, thank you so much. And good morning, everybody. Everybody else on the line, happy Wealth Wednesday. I'm super stoked to be here today. And if you're new, then you know, actually, no, you don't. If you're new, then I love interacting with people. I don't want to be the guy who just yickety yakety talky kind of guy. I mean, yeah, I got stuff to share, but I want to hear from you guys. So the first thing I love hearing from you guys is, how did you do? How did you do in the last 7 days? Did you have anybody that you were able to either have a conversation with Renatus or about Renatus, bring them to a group conversation about Renatus, whether it's a house tour, first exposure, intro, Thursday night, Wednesday night, follow up. Let's see, this coming up, we got intensives, we got people coming to the live studio for recording, and we are allowed to invite guests to the Thursday night. However, I would start with a Saturday for this weekend intensive, because that will be geared specifically for guests, where if you invite them to the recording studio, then like they have to sit in the back, they can't raise their hand, no questions type of thing. But yeah, so how many people were you able to bring out to have a conversation with us about Renatus and what is possible for them? So I already got a bunch of people chiming in on the text, on the chat here. Let me go ahead and take a look. So go ahead and chime in on the chat. Tell me, how many people were you able to get to an exposure in the last 7 days? And I will go ahead and look up my own. Let's see. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So I had 6. The number that I count is all one-on-ones. Like if I get somebody to a first exposure, I don't even necessarily count that, because I know that for my business, the money, the fortune is going to be in the follow-up. I'm going to put somebody's order in one-on-one. I'm going to take somebody's credit card one-on-one or debit card or however they're going to pay. I'm going to be taking that usually one-on-one over Zoom, that kind of thing. And so that's one of the things I actually wanted to talk about today when we get into the training. But all right, we got a bunch of people here. Let me give you guys some shout outs, give you guys some love. Levi had 3, attaboy, brother. And iPhone had 2. Man, I wish my iPhone was as efficient as you. And bring a couple of people. But somebody named iPhone had 2 one-on-ones. Congratulations. Amy had 6, and one of those was a one-on-one. Congratulations, Amy. Let's see. Sheena Kyler I have 2 direct contacts. I think I know what that means, but congratulations. Tamra had 1 follow-up scheduled. Oh, got 1 for tonight. Congratulations. Positive vibes your way, and I'm sure everybody else on the line is thinking the same thing. Positive vibes your way, and I'll share some things with you today to help you with that. Jeremy had 4. Congratulations, brother. Jeremy and Karen, I should say. Jeremy Farrell, Karen Amberson had 4. Congratulations. Chuck had 1. Leslie had 2. Good job, both of you guys. Sandra had 3. Keely had 1. Daniel had 1. Roy had 6. Holy smokes, guys, we're killing it. I mean, this is like 20, 30 people just from the people who reported. Actually, a little more. So I'm not really a head math guy, so I'm not sure exactly how many all of those are, but Newton had 3 new ICMs. Congratulations, brother. Let's see, 3 new ICMs enrolled, 1 new ICM enrolled. I'm not sure exactly what that means. 3 new ICMs enrolled, 1 new ICM. Oh, essentials, gotcha. 3 new, 1 new. Good job, brother. That's how it works. It's working. Good job. Cool. So the next thing I want to do is let me have one of you guys come off a mute, and you know who you are, whoever you are, tuning in to your business. Let's field a question or give me a scenario, and let's answer. Let's mastermind on it. Let's figure out how we can help you. Now, and always remember, it's so much easier to give birth than to raise the dead. So one thing that we need to always remember is if you got people who are not ready, they're not ready yet, that's okay. Always be focusing on who's next. Help the people you're working with. And let's use very good tactics in how we help them see the vision. But remember, always, let's be looking for that new person. But who has someone they're struggling with? Who has someone that they're just like, I don't know where to go next. I don't know where to turn. What's up, brother?
Hello, Daine. How you doing?
Good, man. We got David Rainey off the line.
So I've been talking to a few people. Brother. I've been talking to a few people, and I had maybe 2 people out of 10 when I was telling them about come to the intro, inviting them. They was asking if it was a cost and what.
If it was a cult?
No, a cost to it. How much did it cost?
Oh, cost.
And what I said was, is whatever you've done that was important to you. You probably made a payment. You for the job that has led you nowhere. I'm pretty sure you probably went to school and paid a cost. So you paid costs with your time and different trainings and paid a cost to buy your car. And I said, of course, this have a cost, but I don't think it really went well the way I said it. So I was trying to get a suggestion.
Yes, I can tell you right now that your thinking is correct. So let me go ahead and share my screen. This is a good one. This is a really good one. So thank you, David, for coming off of the line here. So today is the 4th of March, the year 2020, Mastermind. Just so I save this, and bam. So let me come back to our diagram here. So in our process, when we're going from in creating the intrigue to the point where they're like, hey, like, what's going on here? You know, you say something where they're like, yeah. And then you're like, all right, let me tell you about the meeting, right? Because you're number one. You're gonna invite them to come to the meeting, correct?
Right.
And so, and then from there, you know, we got more exposures. You know, second exposure, we got group follow up, you know, stuff like that. Actually, I don't like that acronym of FU. Let's do this. Follow up. Okay. So in essence, what you're telling me is in the intrigue phase, I want to say this too, because this is one thing that really, really, really helped me to be 100% accountable to the money that I bring in, right? I recognize that the only reason I make money is because I am 100% accountable to myself. I take responsibility, even if things aren't necessarily my fault. If I take responsibility, it gives me something to act. If I take responsibility, it gives me power to do something. Something at all, but something different. Okay. So in essence, what I'm hearing is you were talking to them and you were in the intrigue phase and you were trying to go from intrigue phase to first exposure, and they were like, "Wait," and something happened, and they're like, "No, I'm not. I don't want to come. I don't want to come to that." Okay. So I can tell you right now, David, that something was said that caused them to think there is a cost, right? And if you can believe me, when I invite people to meetings, I rarely get people ask me, "Oh, does it cost anything?" Rarely, because of, again, what is said. So if you can help me, let's help you. Let's diagnose a little bit more. If you can help me understand, do you remember what you said to the gentleman when you were first creating the intrigue?
Yeah.
And then how you invited him? Go ahead.
Okay, so it's social media. So when I make a post and I say, if anybody interested in to network with some real estate investors, I'm in Chicago, but I have a group of people around the nation and almost every major city across the U.S. Let me know if you need some group support and if you're interested in learning real estate. So they know already a little bit about the group, and they want me to give them an address, but I talk to them first.
Okay. Cool. So you put out a social media post. You're, in your wording, you're saying group of real estate investors, network with them. Okay. Right. I love it. This is good. And then you got some bites. So in essence, you kind of qualified a bunch of people already. Like, the people that saw that and didn't respond, that, I would say, they're not ready for real estate investing. Like, they are already like, no, I don't really want to network with people. I don't want to see a group of real estate investors, whatever. But in their mind, they're thinking group of people, they're investors. I want to network with them, or they're allowing other people to network with them. Yeah, I want to do that. And so people are biting, right? And so people are like, hey, tell me about it, brother. Tell me about it, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And so talk to me about what happened in between, like, hey, tell me about it, brother, to you saying, hey, come to, next step, come to a meeting. Tell me what happened right here in between. I'm interested, brother.
Yeah, I just tell them, if you're interested and you want to join a group of investors, any place in the U.S. is accessible, and we have many physical locations in places around the U.S. Let me know if you want to find out if it's something close to you or you want to join our nationwide online meeting. And when people reach out, I say we got to get on the phone call. I don't give out an address or give you access to the online network until you talk to me first. So I get on a phone call and I just tell them a little bit about our group, that we do real estate, wealth strategies, marketing and sales training, and we hold each other accountable and meet every week. And if I just ask them a few questions about themselves and ask them, are they interested?
Cool. Love it. I think I heard it. I'm not sure if you guys heard it. If you did hear it, let me know, but I think I heard it. Right off the bat in this very first, where you're explaining things and talking to them, you said the word join. And so when I meet with people, I never say the word join, because right off the bat, they're thinking join probably means money. Join means I've got to pull out my checkbook, because if I join something, then, the last time I joined something, they charged me. The last time I joined a gym, the last time I joined what do they call those? Timeshare, the last time I joined, whatever. And so the word that I heard you say was join. I would refrain from saying that, but let's talk about what to do. Okay. And so in essence, I love what you're doing, by the way. This is awesome. And so as you put that kind of stuff out there and you take that conversation, oh man, I want to say, I can't remember how many weeks ago, but I did a whole training where we talked the whole hour on just my little 15-minute one-on-one briefing, and busted that out. But in essence, I might give you homework. Go watch that too. But in essence, let's get rid of that word and let's focus. So as we focus more on them, okay? I love how you said, you ask them some questions, hey, what does financial freedom look like to you? Why are you interested in real estate? How long you been interested, right? So these are the questions I love. So how long have you been interested in real estate? Why? Like what does financial freedom look like to you? What does free financial freedom look like to you? What have you tried? That's a good one. What have you tried? Yeah. Stuff like that. So, those are the questions I ask them. And then for you, it sounds like they're coming from all over the place. And so you're going to find out where they are. Where are they? And then I assume that you're trying to find them a local event. Am I correct? Or were you going to an online event?
Correct.
Okay, so you're going to an online event. So maybe you don't care about where they are. Did you ask them that?
Yeah, I ask them where they are, but I always start them off with something online.
Okay, cool. So where are they? Online. We're talking. I assume that you are booking them to Scott Rose online.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay, perfect. So instead of say group, join, things like that, if you did that post where, you're talking about a group and you're talking about networking, as you're talking to them in this phase, you've engaged in the conversation, you're listening to them answer these questions about their lives, I would say something like this. Yeah, so we learn about these things. I'd say based, okay, let me actually, and here, let's role play. You ready? So I've already
Yeah,
asked you. I've already asked you how long. You're like, oh, I've been looking for years. You know, what does financial freedom look like for you? Like, oh, I want to quit my job and be debt free, and you know, whatever. What have you tried? Like, oh man, I've really just been looking into it and getting that kind of stuff. Okay, so we bring us up to that point, and then let's go ahead and assume character. Okay, so all right, brother. What city are you in actually right now? And where are you interested in investing?
I'm in Chicago. I want to start investing where I live at right now.
Good, man. That's awesome. So in fact, I actually have a guy that he invests in Chicago as well, and I'd really like you to meet him. Is there anything that you're doing on Thursday night at 7 p.m. that you couldn't get out of to jump on a webinar with me and this guy?
I don't think so. I think I could do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're going to be doing actually a webinar where, you know, because we got people from all over the nation, and so you know, we like to make it available to everybody. I mean, there is some live stuff too, but how about we do that? So Thursday at 7 p.m. Is there anything you need to check on to make sure that you can make that before I send you the ticket?
Yeah, I got to check my calendar to make sure I didn't book something else.
All right, cool. Go ahead and look at that real fast, and let me know if you can make that Thursday at 7 p.m. this week.
Okay, it looks like I can make it.
Cool. Looks like we can make it. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and send you a and if I break character here for just a sec, I always send them the calendar invite. But anyway, okay. So all right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and send you a calendar invite. What's a good email for you to send that to?
RainyBDavid@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. So we got the email. Email, perfect. Okay. Cool. And in fact, here, you know, since we're talking on Facebook, what's a good phone number for you? And I'll get you registered. Okay. And we got the phone number. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Cool. So I'll be we'll be jumping on. This is tomorrow, so we got, you know, basically 36 hours, give or take, for this meeting. So I'll go ahead and send you the invite, and then I'll probably text you before as well to make sure that, you know, it's right there on the top of your inbox. And I will plan on seeing you Thursday at 7. And I actually have somebody that I want you to meet. So there's a gentleman, the gentleman that's going to be doing this. I actually know him, you know, fairly well. We've been doing business for a little while now, but this guy started investing in real estate. Oh my goodness. I mean, we're talking, 10, 13, like 15-ish years ago. And he's done a lot of cool things. You know, he's done some creative transactions. I know he's got gobs of rental properties that bring him that passive cash flow that we were talking about. But really, I mean, Scott, this guy, Scott, that I want to introduce you to, Scott, I just love the way that he thinks. Like, he is such a creative thinker when he sits down and you know, talks about how he got his start in real estate and how he's helped a lot of other people do the same. I mean, you're gonna love him. You're absolutely gonna love him. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and you know, I'll plug your email in, send you a calendar invite, and I will plan on seeing you Thursday at 7. Fair enough?
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. Yeah. So all right, now
really
we break character. What's that?
I do really like the calendar invite part of it, and
yeah. It's like the best way I've ever figured out how to ask somebody for their email, because oftentimes if I don't know somebody and I'm like, hey, what's your email? They're like, why? Like, what are you going to do with my email? You know? But yeah. If I say, oh, yeah, I'll send you a calendar invite for this thing that we talked about going to together, what's your email? Then people give me their email all day long. No questions asked. But notice as well, like I didn't even give you an opportunity to think, does this cost something? What's this going to cost, man? I'm just like, dude, I want to introduce you to somebody. Okay. And so I like using that introduce you to somebody, even if I'm bringing them to a big meeting where like this weekend, Keely talked about, Michael is going to be doing the intro presentation instead of myself because he's in town. And so this week, as I invite people to the meeting, I mean, I'm going to say, like, guys, I really have somebody I want you to introduce. I want to introduce you to you. Like, he's coming from out of town. He's a good friend of mine. He's in his early 30s. He's killing it right now in real estate. And I actually have the luxury of inviting him over from Denver to come and network with us. So yeah, come on down. Anyway, you get the idea. Even though I'm bringing them to a meeting, I don't like the concept of being like, hey, let me introduce you to a meeting. No, I want you to introduce you to people. And so even if I'm doing online, like let's say, in fact, when I was using Scott Rose, or if I were using Scott Rose recorded trainings that are online, I would still say, I want to introduce you to Scott, because even though it's a recorded training, Scott's still going to be doing the training, right? Scott's still going to be doing the presentation on the recording, and it's just the video. But I would still introduce Scott, similarly to the way that I did. And again, like it just doesn't even give them the opportunity to be thinking, oh, wait a second. I think I caught on to you, right? And because in their mind, that's what they're thinking. Oh, I caught you. You're trying to sell me, join a meeting, something. And it doesn't even cross their mind when you say it like that. So cool. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you, Daine.
Perfect. Cool. I hope you took some notes on this as you're building your system. Yeah, building your system of what you say. Okay, and in the template, notice, I should say this too, because we'll talk about this a little bit later. But in the template, notice that I say, or in my template is listening. My template includes listening, because I don't know exactly what they're going to say to all these things, and I only want to give people exactly what they want, right? It makes perfect sense, right? I only want to give people exactly what they want. I don't know what they want unless I ask questions, because if I just start spitting off, hey, I have this to give, hey, I have this to give, do you want this? Anyway, you get the idea. So make sure that in your template, in fact, you already told me that you asked him some questions, but make sure that you have that in a template form, that you ask him all the same questions. And it could lead to different ways. These are my personal favorites. How long? What have you tried? What does financial freedom look like to you? Why real estate? Why real estate as a path to financial freedom, stuff like that. Here's another one. So when you start making enough money with this, do you think you'll go into real estate investing full-time, or would you stay part-time? That's the first. I love that one. So when you start making, right, again, you're putting pictures in their mind. When you start making enough money with this real estate investing thing, do you see yourself going full-time, or would you stay part-time?
Definitely full-time.
Love that one. Okay. Yeah, cool. All right, let's check. Let's check messages here, comments, whatever. Hey, Daine, I had someone who's interested in investing but had her identity stolen, and it's causing issues with getting bank loans, etc. What do you suggest they do? So, Relinda, I would consider getting her connected with Get Funded Online, or technically Credit Nerds, because Credit Nerds does free credit repair if there's something that's been going on that needs to be fixed and legally, morally, ethically, they can fix it, credit nerds will actually help her for free. And so use the same idea, because if you just say, hey, I got free credit repair, people are going to be like, nah, what's the catch, you know? But you just say, hey, I actually have somebody that I want you to meet. I met a guy that is a part of a group of real estate investors. If they already know about Renatus, you know, then and the cat's out of the bag, then yeah, that one's easy. Basically just say, hey, I actually know a guy that is an instructor for Renatus. He teaches the credit classes. I mean, this dude gets invited by the federal government to come and sit in on Supreme Court case levels as a special witness. I mean, this dude forgot more about credit than most people will ever know. His company actually provides free credit repair for Renatus students and Renatus friends of Renatus students. And so I'd actually love to introduce you to him and his company. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do to help you, or what they can do to help you. And so, Relinda, I would say it's something just like that. And get them involved with credit nerds. Mr. Counts will help them. I should say Mr. Counts' company, he'll help them if there's anything to do. What do you say when it's, let's see, what do you say when it's you doing the meeting as opposed to Michael? I only want to answer that if that applies. But if I do, or I should say when I do book people, I still say I want to introduce you to somebody, but I say, yeah, like I'll actually be doing a presentation, or I'll be doing a training on Thursday night at 7. I'd love to have you come down. You know, so last week, for example, I had my uncle come down. He called me up last week in the middle of the week and was like, hey, Dan, what are you doing? You know, it was really funny. He's like, what are you doing? I see, you know, you're going on lots of trips. You're getting nice stuff. You're posting about real estate deals. I can tell that you're not the person doing the work. What are you doing? And so I immediately started asking him questions, going down my template, and I find out that he's about to come into a chunk of money, and he's like, what should I do with this? Because I know I don't want to just keep it in my bank account, because it's either going to go away because I spend it, or I might lose it, you know, whatever. And so he's thinking about real estate. And so I basically just started talking to him. In fact, first he says, can I come and see a real estate deal that you're doing? I want to do a walkthrough. And I was able to pull it back, ask him tons of questions. And because of the way he answered, I said, dude, you know what? I actually am going to be doing a presentation. I'm going to be speaking in front of a small group of people on Thursday, telling my story a little bit, but really I'll be talking about some strategies that I use to leverage into real estate deals creatively. I actually would love to have you come and meet some of the people that I'm working with, and network, you know, and then from there, you know what, yeah, let's still go see a deal, but I want you to see it. And so he came down on Thursday and was like, holy cow, you know, absolutely blown away, especially, you know, velocity banking stuff, leveraging zero down rental, whatever. And so now he's already seen it. He's seen that it costs $20,000. And so I'm meeting with him and his wife today on the one-on-one. So Relinda, to answer that question, just hopefully it applies to you. Because you're doing presentations, yeah. But there you go. Cool. So last thing I want to share with you guys today. And I want it to be around listening, because I've noticed that the reason most people will not succeed. All right, let me say that again. The reason most people will not succeed is because they do not know how to listen, right? Check this out. So, you know, I've been in and a part of Renatus for over 4 years. I think it's like, I'm going on like 52 or 53 months that I've been a part of Renatus. And earlier on, it's funny because I feel like I didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah, we were closing business, but I'm just like taking blind action almost. What do they call that? Fire on ice is better than, oh, let's see, no, ambition. I can't remember. But in essence, I didn't know what I was doing. I went out and just took massive action and closed the business. And that is better than in essence, analysis paralysis, right? And we closed a lot of business. But I've noticed lately that, I mean, I don't know if it's just the world as a whole. I don't know if it's just society, but I personally feel like society is changing a little bit, right? People are getting smarter because there's so many scams out there. There's so many people out there to get other people's money with little value in return. And so I feel like society needs, and this is good for us, right? Don't let me scare you, because this is good. This is good for us because of what we actually have and what we can offer. But society needs people that are actually listening. And if you focus on becoming a better listener, you are going to stand out among the crowd. Because so many people are out there, like I said, they're trying to get people's money, right? The economy is booming right now. Everyone thinks that they can go start some business, sell that, whatever. But if you truly focus on listening, you're going to stand out. You are going to stand out. Notice that anybody who makes good money in this business, notice how good of a listener they are. Notice how well they can, almost like the doctor, they can listen to somebody and diagnose based on what they hear and actually help that person. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple things. Listening. First of all, oops, I don't want to give you a head that looks like a 6, because this is also going to represent me. Okay, so notice our bodies, right? Our physiology, whatever you want to call that, biology. I don't know. I'm not a science guy, but notice that our human nature. I like that word, actually. That one's better. Human nature. We all have input devices, right? We've got 2 ears. We've got 2 eyes, okay? And so we have massive amounts of input devices, right? We also have, our hearts, and a lot of people say the heart can feel, okay? So I'm just talking input devices here. Ears, eyes, nose, mouth, for food, I guess, heart. And if you've ever heard this before, you know that this rings true. But listening is not just with ears, right? Listening is not just with ears. You listen with your eyes. You listen with your heart, right? You listen for tonalities. And notice that we have 1 output device. So input, huge. We have a lot of devices in just our human physiology to receive input, right? Next time you talk to somebody, try listening with your eyes to that person. Try listening with your heart to that person. And our human physiology, we have 1 output device. 2, and I guess you could argue that we use body language and stuff like that. Sure. But our output devices nowhere near the amount of our human physiology input devices. Okay. And so essentially what I want to say, and I already said this once, next time you talk to somebody, notice also, this is actually really cool. This is really cool. So same physiology, us. Notice that our listening because the mouth goes one way. The mouth can go basically straight forward out of our bodies, right? When we talk. Notice that our input devices, we can hear or we can listen from 360 degrees, right? You can hear somebody who is behind you. You can hear somebody who is next to you. You can hear somebody who is on the other side of the world. We can listen from 360 degrees, all the way around us. So as you're out there, and you guys have probably heard, if you haven't, then look up in maybe the Facebook group or something like that, or previous trainings. But I've got a training out there on becoming a detective real estate investor, where every single human, there's 4 different boxes, right? Every single human has a relationship to real estate. And it's always one of these 4 boxes. So the next time that you are becoming a detective, like our brother that came off of mute and talked about people that are responding to a Facebook post of his, next time you have the opportunity to be a detective, and I mean, honestly, we all have an opportunity every day, unless we are quarantined and don't talk to any humans. But next time you have the opportunity to be a detective, try this. Open up your awareness 360 degrees. Open up your listening, look at them. Look at their eyes, look at their face, look at their posture. Okay, look at what they're doing with their hands, right? I don't want to go into all kinds of crazy detail of what things mean when you see them, but just notice what they do. Your human intuition, your natural human abilities, right? We all have this. Most people just don't use it. What do they call it? Instinct? We all have instinct. Guys, we're humans, right? We were put on this earth to connect with each other, period. Right? All wealth is created through conversation with other humans, right? Whether it's a homeowner that you're having a conversation with and saying, hey, I'll buy your house, right? We picked up a deal. I'm not sure if Caesar's on the line, but picked up a deal just yesterday from a sweet lady that bought a house on seller financing, and the seller financier, she had a balloon, and the seller financier is like playing hardball, like basically either get out or I'm taking it. And because we listened to her, we're picking up this property at $100,000 discount. And because we listened, we're doing it in 24 hours, right? Literally learned about this property yesterday, and we're wiring in $205,000 today. I mean, less than 24 hours later even. Again, because of the listening, hearing people, and what's going on. Even had a chance to talk to the seller financier, and that conversation ended up worthless by nature, but really the things that we heard smelled opportunity because of his mindset. Anyway, so today, tomorrow, for the rest of this week, every time you step into that realm of becoming a detective to find out, how can I help this person? Listen with all of your devices that you've been given. See them, hear them, feel them. I don't mean that in a weird way. And if you thought that, then time to grow up. Okay. But listen to them. You will stand out among the crowd. Okay. People will notice that you can truly hear them. Okay. So let's see, got a bunch of chats. Da, 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 da. What do you say? Oh, we already answered that. Yes, thank you. Ignorance on fire. Thank you. Ada Maria. Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. Thank you, both of you and Amy. Cool. Action is a great restorer and builder of confidence. Inaction is not only the result, but the cause of fear. Yes. Perhaps the action you take will be successful. Perhaps different action or adjustments will have to follow, but any action is better than no action at all. Norman Vincent Peale. Yes. Thank you, Jill. Perfect. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Okay. All right. So this week, I want you to give yourself an affirmation. Okay. Tell yourself, I listen 100% with all my listening devices. Okay. I listen 100% with all my listening devices, and say to yourself, I hear people. I hear them. Tell yourself that. Give yourself that affirmation that you hear them. You hear truth. You hear the opportunity to help them. Because again, as a detective, that's all you want to do. You just want to figure out, how can I help them? What do they want? How can I help them? And you hear them and you deliver. Okay. Like for example, I say in my template, I have these questions and I hear them. And because of the way they answer their questions, I bring it back and say, oh my goodness, I've got just the thing for you. Because of what, I don't say this, but I allude to, because of what you just said, I think I have what you're going to want, right? Did this with my uncle last week. And then I'm meeting with him and his wife today to get them started with Renatus. Because when he told me, hey, I got money coming, right? I heard him. And I said, oh my goodness, I think I have something that you're going to want to see. He comes down on Thursday and he straight up told me, he's like, yeah, I wasn't really expecting that. I wasn't really expecting you to be like, oh, by the way, this costs $20,000. I said, nobody does. You didn't, I didn't, right? Everybody on this call, when you first heard $20,000 from Renatus, anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000, I mean, we weren't expecting that. We're not looking to go spend money. We're looking to, what do they say? Like, we love to buy. We don't like to be sold, right? We love buying things that we want. We hate being sold. So hear them. Based on what they say, you get to be the doctor. And you say, you know what? I think you would really like this, or I'd be really curious to know what you think about this. You invite them to meetings. You invite them, analyze their deal, because they, in your detective work, you find out that they've got a property with all kinds of problems stemming from it. Whatever it is, hear them. Okay. Tell yourself that you listen 100%. You show up present in all of your conversations and you hear them. You will stand out. And money follows a good listener. Money shows up to a good listener. Okay. All right, guys, let me just check messages one more time. And I have tried the ignorance. I have tried the ignorance on fire. It didn't work. Chuck, if you heard from today, or maybe jump on my call from was it last week? I think it was last week, right? There is something, and I just want to give this to you, brother, because you asked. I hear you, brother. Notice that ignorance on fire, you still need to have a system of what you're doing for people. And just like our brother that came off the mute and shared, oh man, I shared this with them and they, something happened. They went off. It was, if you take 100% responsibility and say, you know what, it must have been something I was saying, or maybe I wasn't listening. If you take 100% responsibility, you will be empowered to make the change that you need, that people will flock to you eventually. But if you choose to say, I tried that, it didn't work, you give all the power to outside. There is no power outside. The power is inside. But if you give the power to outside, it will make you feel helpless. It will make you feel hopeless. And nothing will get done. Especially fattening up your pocketbook. Or your pocket, not your pocketbook, but fattening up your pocket, your wallet. But if you turn it on the flip side and say, how can I, and you take ownership, you take responsibility, don't blame, you take responsibility, eventually, if you endure like that long enough, and that, I really mean that, long enough, I don't know how long it's going to be, but long enough, if you endure that, of taking 100% responsibility inside of you instead of placing it outside of you in the hands of other people and circumstances, bring it inside, man. Bring it inside. And mark my words, if you endure long enough with that mindset that you are fixing the inside, because that's where you have the power, it'll work. I've never seen it not work when they do it that way. And that's the condition. So cool. All right, guys. Glad you guys are okay with me being real here for just a second. But have I taken the training? I did. I'm not going to openly, say everybody should do that. No, like it was good, but focusing on my inside has been way more valuable than any training I ever took. Right? Bring it inside. Right? And if you guys are looking for, development things, stuff like that, I'm happy to recommend. But I wouldn't be like, yeah, go drop, thousands of dollars and take an NLP training. It's not going to change your life. Just being honest. Right? Take the battle inside of you. Spend the time. Right? I'll give you books. Anyway, you guys get it. Cool. Let's see. Jeremy, great stuff. Reflex Mastermind we did last week. Things about it. Yep. About making others right. Yes. Cool. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate you. I'm glad I did not offend you. Just wanted to give you the truth. Because I'm listening to you, and I want to give you the truth. So, all right, guys, sounds good. I'll see you all in a week, and I'll see you if you're coming to Thursday to meet Michael. If you're coming to Saturday, meet Mark Kohler. I'll be there live and in person as well. But talk to you guys soon, and have a great week.